Okay, so get this right. Like, imagine 250 million years in the future. You step out onto Earth, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's like all the continents, like, smashed together into one giant landmass.
So we're talking
It's called
Pangaea Ultima.
Pangaea Ultima, the supercontinent of the future.
Yeah.
And it's not just science fiction. This is like what scientists are predicting is going to happen because of those ever-shifting tectonic plates.
Right.
You know, we've had supercontinents before.
Of course, like the famous Pangaea, right?
Pangaea, exactly.
Yeah.
This cycle,
It keeps going.
it continues, yeah.
So in today's deep dive, we're going to kind of time travel, right?
Okay.
We're using a new study from Nature Geoscience and then also some expert commentary from Sci News and New Atlas.
Cool.
Our mission is to figure out, like, what does this supercontinent world even mean for, for mammals like us?
Like us.
And let me tell you, the outlook isn't exactly sunny. It's, the study's findings are a bit stark.
Oh, okay.
So imagine squeezing all of the livable land for mammals on Earth into, like, an area the size of Australia.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's what we're looking at.
Oh, okay.
Less than 16%.
So most of Pangaea Ultima is just, like, uninhabitable.
Yeah, it would be pretty rough.
So what makes it so harsh?
Well, it's a combination of factors, right? So
Okay.
first, imagine you're in the heart of this giant continent, thousands of miles from any ocean. That's what we call continentality.
Okay.
And basically what that means is, like, really extreme temperature swings.
Yeah.
Very little rainfall. You're talking basically a vast, scorching desert landscape.
So location.
Basically, yeah.
But it's not just being landlocked, right?
Right.
The sun is kind of like cranking up the heat too, isn't it?
Exactly. So 250 million years from now,
Yeah.
the sun will be about 2.5% more intense.
Okay.
Now,
That doesn't sound like a ton.
it doesn't sound like a huge jump, but on a planetary scale, that extra radiation,
Right.
it means a significant increase in heat.
Okay, so we've got scorching deserts and a hotter sun. Anything else? Anything else we need to worry about?
Oh, well, there's the side effect of all this continental rearranging volcanoes.
Oh.
Lots of them.
So they're just going to be...
And all those volcanic eruptions, they release a ton of carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah.
Into the atmosphere.
Of course, yeah.
And the study predicts that we could see double the CO2 levels we have today.
Whoa, double.
Assuming, of course, that we've stopped burning fossil fuels by then. So,
Right. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
But, okay, so double the CO2. I mean, that's like a supercharged greenhouse effect, right?
Right, yeah.
So, like, how are mammals supposed to handle all this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost ironic. Mammals, we rose to prominence, after the dinosaurs were wiped out, possibly, due to climate change.
Oh, wow.
And now it seems like climate change could be our downfall, too.
Right, so we're looking at temperatures potentially hitting 40 to 70 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
With high humidity on time of that.
Yeah, you're talking about some...
I mean, how are we supposed to survive in that?
You're right. Those are seriously extreme conditions.
Yeah.
And while mammals have gotten pretty good at dealing with the cold,
Sure.
Thanks to things like fur and hibernation,
Right.
our ability to deal with extreme heat hasn't really evolved that much.
Oh, interesting.
Sweating can only do so much.
Yeah.
And in those temperatures, I wouldn't be nearly enough.
So it's not looking good for us.
Well...
But hold on a second.
Yeah.
Haven't there been mass extinctions before?
Absolutely.
And didn't life bounce back?
Life is incredibly resilient.
Okay.
It finds a way, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Wow.
So this research, it's not about predicting doom and gloom. It's about understanding how these massive planetary processes, how they shape the course of evolution.
So maybe new, like, heat-adapted life forms will emerge.
Could be, yeah.
Or perhaps mammals will find a way to evolve and adapt.
Maybe.
It's like watching a giant experiment unfold over millions of years.
Exactly.
And while Pangaea Ultima might seem like a distant future problem,
it does seem that way, but...
this research actually has huge implications for how we think about climate change right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And even, like, the search for life on other planets, which is wild.
Yeah, yeah.
So how does this supercontinent in the distant future connect to what's happening on our planet today?
Well, by studying supercontinent climates, it helps us to understand just how sensitive our planet is to change. And it gives us really valuable data to refine our climate models
Okay.
and make them more accurate.
So it's like looking into the past to see the future,
Yeah,
but also applying those lessons to the present.
exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's, the search for life on other planets.
Yeah.
This research is really highlighting that
Tell
just
me.
because a planet's in the habitable zone
Right.
doesn't mean it's going to be a pleasant living environment.
Okay, wait. What's the habitable zone again?
So the habitable zone is basically the region around a star where temperatures are just right
Okay.
for liquid water to exist on the
That's-
surface of the planet.
Right.
But as this study shows, even a planet in that habitable zone
Yeah.
could still be a giant scorching desert if it's one massive supercontinent.
So maybe finding a planet with continents spread out like ours
Right.
is a better bet for finding life as we know it.
Yeah, it seems that way.
That's pretty wild.
It is, and it
Yeah.
really makes you realize how special our planet is
Yeah.
with its unique arrangement of continents and oceans.
Oh, this is a lot to take in.
It is, yeah.
After hearing all this, I'm not so sure I want to pack my bags for a supercontinent vacation just yet.
Probably not the best vacation spot.
No, not ideal.
But this research really highlights
Yeah.
the incredible power of what we call deep time.
Okay.
And it shows how interconnected geology is,
Yeah.
climate and life really are.
Yeah. It really makes you appreciate that, like, we're not just passengers on this planet. We're like active participants in its story.
That's right. We're shaping the planet.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe some of our listeners out there will be inspired to become the scientists who unravel these mysteries of the supercontinents.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And the future of life on Earth.
I hope so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, because when we come back,
All right.
we'll delve even deeper into this fascinating world
Looking forward to it.
of Pangaea Ultima
Yeah.
and what it might mean for the future of humanity.
Definitely.
So stay tuned.
All right. One thing that really stood out to me from these sources
Okay.
is how the actual location of this future supercontinent could make things even more challenging for mammals.
Oh, right. The study mentioned that the exact position of Pangaea Ultima
Yeah.
is still kind of like a mystery.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So if it ends up forming in the tropics,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
things could get
Yeah.
even hotter
Really?
than we've already discussed.
Wow. That's not good news.
No.
So if Pangaea Ultima forms closer to the equator, we're talking like a
Yeah.
whole other level of extreme heat.
It would certainly present even greater challenges for mammals.
Yeah.
But but remember,
Yeah.
we're looking millions of years into the future.
Right.
It's hard to say for sure
Yeah, of course.
what kind of adaptations might occur
Yeah.
over such a vast time scale.
True, but still, those 40 to 70 degrees Celsius temperatures
Yeah.
with high humidity on top of that.
Right.
It's hard to imagine, like, anything surviving that,
It's definitely extreme.
even with, like, millions of years to adapt.
You're right. Those are extreme conditions.
Yeah,
But life has an amazing ability to find ways to survive.
that's true.
We can't rule out the
Yeah.
possibility of,
Yeah.
some incredible survival mechanisms emerging.
Right, like, we have no idea
We don't know.
what could happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
because we have to keep an open mind about the possibilities.
I think so, yeah.
Still, it's a bit sobering
It is.
to think about the potential for, like, such a massive extinction event.
It does make you appreciate
Yeah,
the delicate balance
Right.
that allows life to thrive on Earth.
totally.
And it makes you think about,
Yeah.
the impact that we're
Yeah,
having
yeah.
on the planet right now,
Oh, for sure.
like today.
Yeah, the researchers made a point of saying that,
Yeah.
while this future scenario is a long way off,
Right.
it should make us pay attention to the climate crisis
Absolutely.
that we're facing today.
Yeah, understanding the long-term consequences of environmental change.
Right.
Even on these vast timescales,
Yeah.
it can help us make better decisions in the present.
So what can we learn from all of this?
Yeah.
What are, like, the key takeaways from this deep dive into Pangaea Ultima?
Well, for one, it highlights the interconnectedness
Yeah.
of everything on Earth.
Right.
You've got tectonic plates shifting,
Right.
continents colliding,
Yeah.
volcanic eruptions.
Yeah.
It all has this
Right.
ripple effect
Yeah.
on climate
Yeah.
and life.
Right. And it reminds us that, like, Earth is constantly changing.
Yeah.
What we see today is just a snapshot
It's just a moment in time.
in a much larger story
Exactly.
that's been unfolding for, like, billions of years.
Exactly. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this research
Yeah.
will inspire future generations to develop, like, technologies that'll allow them to mitigate the effects of these extreme climate scenarios.
Right, or like adapt and thrive in them.
Or maybe they'll even find ways to adapt and thrive in them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of future generations,
Yeah.
what about the search for life on other planets? How does this research factor into that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
One of the key things this research emphasizes
Okay.
is that just because a planet is in the habitable zone
Right.
doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a paradise for humans
Right.
or even for life as we know it.
So even if a planet is the right distance from its star for liquid water to exist, it could still be completely inhospitable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. So if that planet is a giant supercontinent with extreme temperatures and very little surface water, well, that's not a place we want to call home.
Right? Like, at least not us.
Right. Not us.
Yeah.
It really challenges our assumptions about what makes a planet truly habitable.
It sounds like finding a planet with, like, continents spread out.
Right.
Like ours.
Yeah.
With a good balance of land and water.
Yeah, with oceans and continents.
Yeah. Might be a much better bet for finding life as we know it.
Seems that way.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
So it's like we have a whole new set of criteria to add to our checklist for potentially habitable planets.
It expands our understanding of what to look for out there in the vast universe.
It's crazy.
It's pretty amazing.
And it's a reminder that the search for life is bound to be
full of surprises.
Full of surprises,
Yeah. We don't know what we'll find out there.
Totally. Well, my head is spinning after all of this.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to wrap your mind around.
It is, but it's the kind of knowledge that can really change your perspective on things.
Absolutely. It makes you realize how, like, incredibly vast and complex our planet is.
It is.
And how much we still have to learn.
There's so much we don't know.
Yeah, but hey, that's part of what makes it all so fascinating.
I agree. The mysteries of our planet and the universe are endless.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are, like, some key takeaways that our listeners can ponder?
So first and foremost, I think it's crucial to remember that while this future supercontinent scenario might seem incredibly far off, it has important implications for how we understand and address climate change.
Right. It's not just about some abstract future event. It's about, like, recognizing the impact we're having on the planet today.
Exactly.
And taking action to mitigate it.
Absolutely.
Second, I think it's important to appreciate the interconnectedness of everything on Earth.
Of everything.
The movement of tectonic plates, volcanic activity, changes in CO2 levels.
Right. It all
plays a role. In shaping our planet's climate. And the evolution of life.
It's all
And let's not forget the lesson about habitability. Just because a planet's in the habitable zone doesn't mean
it's going to be a welcoming place for life as we know it.
That's a great point. The arrangement of continents can make a huge difference.
It can.
In whether a planet can support life as we know it.
Absolutely.
It adds a whole new dimension to the search for life beyond Earth.
It really does.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, what are, like, your final thoughts on this journey to Pangaea Ultima?
Well, I think it's important to remember that Earth is a dynamic and ever-changing planet. The continents we see today have been on the move for millions of years.
That's crazy.
And they'll continue to shift and change in the future.
Wow. And with those changes will come new challenges and opportunities for life.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that, like, the story of life on Earth is still being written.
It's still being written.
And who knows? Maybe some of our listeners will be the ones to write the next chapter.
That's a fantastic thought.
That's awesome. Well, on that inspiring note,
all right,
we'll be right back after a quick break.
Sounds good.
To wrap up our deep dive into Pangaea Ultima. Okay, so we're back. And, like, now I'm thinking, like, if we could, like, actually travel to this future supercontinent, what would we even see? Like, what would it be like to stand on that massive landmass?
Well, based on what we know from the research, it probably wouldn't be a very hospitable place, at least not for us.
Right.
We'd probably be standing in this vast desert landscape,
Okay.
baking under an intense sun.
So, like, no lush forests or anything, no, like, sparkling oceans, just endless sand dunes and, like, scorching heat?
Yeah, probably a lot of that, at least for, a large part of the landmass.
Oh, wait.
The study really highlighted how the interior of supercontinents tends to become super arid because of that continentality effect, right?
Right, yeah.
So rainfall would be scarce and the temperatures would just swing wildly between extremes.
It kind of paints a bleak picture, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It makes you, like, appreciate the comfortable climate and diverse landscapes we have on Earth today.
Totally. It highlights the importance of those simple things we take for granted, like a moderate climate and, access to water for life as we know it.
So if Pangaea Ultima is this, like, unforgiving desert world, does that mean there wouldn't be any life at all?
Well, that's where evolution comes in.
Okay.
Life is incredibly adaptable.
Right.
So over millions of years, you could see like all these new life forms emerging that are specifically adapted to the heat and aridity of this new world.
So like maybe we'd see like these strange heat-resistant plants and animals like unlike anything we know today.
Exactly. It'd be like another planet.
Right.
It could be this whole world, full of creatures that have evolved all these unique ways to conserve water, withstand the extreme temperatures, and just thrive in this desert environment.
That's wild.
It's pretty mind-boggling.
It really is. This whole deep dive has been like a journey into the distant future, but it's also given us like this whole new perspective on our planet's past, present, and even the search for life beyond Earth.
Couldn't agree more.
It's a reminder that Earth is like this dynamic system constantly changing and evolving.
Yeah.
The continents we see today have been on this like incredible journey.
They have.
And they'll continue to reshape our planet for millions of years to come.
It makes you wonder what the maps will look like.
Right. Like what's going to happen. And who knows, maybe this research will like inspire future generations to explore those distant worlds and discover the incredible life forms that might exist on other planets, even those with like really challenging conditions.
It's an exciting thought.
It is. It's a testament to like scientific curiosity and just the endless possibilities out there.
Absolutely.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Pangaea Ultima.